Hey, welcome back to our five-part series about WCS and what we do. This is the third part of the series, which is buyers. Our buyers we call resident buyers. And over the next few videos, we're gonna talk about some of the resident buyers, some of the people, some of the families we've helped in some of our properties so far. But this one, I kind of want to talk about our program, right? Our program for resident buyers. The program's called the Path to Home Ownership, and kind of what that looks like for our families once they enroll in our program. The first and foremost, we have a few requirements for our program. The first one is credit score. We want a minimum of 600. Most lenders are looking for 620, so we know within the time period that we want to work with our families, we can probably help them gain 20 points. So most of our program is for 24 months for our families, right? So they enroll in our program in a 24-month period. We help them to be able to buy that house from us in that time, either before or by the end of the 24 months, right? So to do that, the program requires a few requirements, like I mentioned, which is credit, which is a minimum of 600. Income. One thing we cannot help with, we can help with all other aspects, but if you don't make enough money, you don't make enough. There's nothing we can do about that. So we require you to make at least 3 times what the monthly rent would be, right? And so depending on what that rent is, we just need you or your partner or all people that will be in the property and helping, that will be on the mortgage to help buy that total, you all equal at least three times what the rent would be. And that's a normal for our lender, right? A lender looks for the same thing. So we're just trying to be linear to give you those families the best success, the best chance to be successful, right? So that's a big part of, those are the 2 main parts. Some other things we like non-smokers, just because they're in the property. We don't like the smoke to be in the property and become an issue when it comes down the road for us to get financing. We have to get it appraised, and the house smells like smoke, right? And we need to do some things to get the house more fresher so that it can appraise at its highest amount. So that's one of them. The maximum people that would be in a household is 2 people per bedroom. So if it's a 3-bedroom, the max people that can live in that household is 6, right? So that's kind of a minimum requirement for the families that come into our program, right? And then let's talk about the logistics, right? How we get people to the finish line, right? How do we structure this, and how is our rent to buy program different from the typical rent to own? I'll start there first. Typically, in a rent to own, you'll sign up to lease that property for a period of time, and they have what we call an option fee. The option fee may be $3,000, $6,000, $5,000, whatever. That's a non-refundable fee. So you pay that for the option to be able to buy that house at the end of your lease. In my opinion, the reason why that fails a lot of the time is because there is no plan to change your situation from the time that you start that lease to the time you end that lease. So most people that go into that type of a situation fail. They get to the end of the lease, their credit's still bad, they haven't saved enough money, things aren't better, so that at the end of that lease they can buy that property. And so that option fee, that $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, whatever that option fee is, they lose it at the end of that time period. And so we didn't want to create that same environment, that same lack of completion in our program. Our program is built for whatever family we put in there for them to get to the finish line. And we do that on the front end. We do that to work with families and vet families at the front end so that we can figure out if they can even get to the finish line. We rather tell a family no at the beginning than tell them no 2 years after they've been living in that household and thinking that they were going to be a homeowner, right? We're not here to sell false hope. There's enough of that going around. We don't want to do that, right? So that's what makes our rent to buy program different. The other thing that makes it different is our rent, right? Our rent is based on what the mortgage will be. So if we're going to sell the property to at $300,000, we take whatever the interest rate currently is at that time, and that's what we make your rent And the reason why that being and why that's so significant is because that helps us prove to a lender or a bank that you can afford that house. If we make your rent what the mortgage is going to be, and then we can go show them that you've been paying that for 2 years, that helps the lender and the bank feel better about giving that mortgage. They're like, okay, you know, we can kind of show a track record that that family can afford it. So that's a huge step into helping these families become borrowers, stronger borrowers, right? And then the other part is down payment, right? So if you're a first-time home buyer, normally you need 3.5%. To get into our program, we require 1.5% to get into the program, right? That 1.5% comes off of their purchase price, right? But it's their commitment to our program. We're going to do everything in our part that we can do for 2 years. And so that money just kind of helps show us that they want our help, that they want to be in our program and to help them become a homeowner. So we like 1.5% down, but we do work to get up to 3%, 3.5% over the remaining of that period of time, right? So we sit down with that family at the beginning and we schedule out how we're going to apply money to that down payment over this 2-year period. So by the time we go to our lender or our bank, we have the 3%. We can show that they've been paying a rent that's close to that mortgage, and they look like a strong borrower because we've set this situation up. The other thing that's strong about our program is that we are a neutral party, right? We're a neutral party that's advocating for these families. So we're going into the lender and we're like, listen, they've done these things. We've looked at their credit. We've done all this stuff. And they proved to us that they deserve this. So it's not just a family trying to prove to a bank or a lender to lend them $300,000. We're going and actually advocating for the two. And we're also showing proof. We have a financial packet that we put together that shows all their rents, all of the down payments they put down, everything, right? And so that lender can see the work that they've put in over those 24 months, right? So that's why the program is really successful, because we've actually sat down and talked to these banks and the lenders that we use and asked them, you know, what are the hurdles that these families have? What are the hurdles that they're having? And if we help solve these problems, if we check all these boxes, will you lend to our families? Will you help them become a homeowner? And our banks and lenders said yes, right? And so we structured a program, man, to get people there, to get people to become homeowners, And so we're really proud of our program. It's been hugely successful. We've only had one family not get to the finish line. And, you know, it was their own reasons for it. But we worked it out with them and they moved on feeling happy about the situation, feeling happy about our program. And then actually have told other people about our program since it didn't work for them. So we're really proud of that too, right? That family that did walk away, there was no bad blood, right? They didn't feel like the program, that we took advantage of them during the program, that it actually worked for them. And there's just things that they didn't do was the reason why we weren't able to get them to the finish line. So I hope that kind of explains our buyer process, right? And how our program, the Path to Home Ownership, works, right? And why it's so successful. So thank you for tuning in. As you'll get through these other videos, we're going to talk about some of these families, what their situation was, how we structured it, their plan to get to home ownership. And you'll see that in these videos, no one's went 24 months. Everybody has done it a lot sooner than 24 months. And what we have learned by doing this is that when we sit down and give people a target that they could aim at and that they could physically see, that people get there a lot faster. And we're also seeing that, man, a lot of it is just that no one's ever sat down with them and told them how close they are to home ownership. No one's really told them what it takes to do that, for them to understand credit, for them to understand the reason why the bank likes a down payment, why the bank wants the things they want, the paperwork, or how to be a stronger borrower. So we sit down and do that. And so that's a huge help to a lot of these families because they get a clear picture of how close they are to home ownership. And we're super proud of that, man. We're proud of what the value we're bringing to people's lives. Even if they don't use our program, sitting down with them and talking about their situation, or financial situation, and how much of a reality a home ownership is or is not is huge for people, right? They know if they need to go back to the drawing board and do some more work. They know if they need to find another job that brings in a higher income if their dream is to really become a homeowner, right? Like, that's clear to them in that moment, and they know what they're moving forward to do to make them a stronger borrower moving forward. So our goal is to put 200 families in 200 properties and 200 homes in the next 10 years, right? This is year one of our mission. And so we're trying to do 220 this year. And so we're focused, man. We're focused. We're driven. We're locked in on how to do that, man, to try to do that as many times as we can. So every property we buy, man, we don't hold on to them. We buy it with the intention for a family to buy it from us within a 2-year period. So thanks again for tuning in. Look for our videos. Follow us on all the social medias, man. Like us. Share our videos. Share them to anybody who you think is interested in being being one of our tenant buyers, right, and enrolling into doing our program. And that goes for all our series, man. Every series, we had a private money series, we had a seller series, we have the buyer series, and then we're going to be following up with a realtor series and a contractor series, right? And so share any of these with anybody who you think that might be interested, man. We love working with people. We like partnering with people to get these things done. We're in it to build win-win-win situations, win-win-win-win-wins, if that's the case, right? Whatever it is, we sit down with all parties involved and figure out how can we make this work for you? How can we make this work for all parties involved so that everyone walks away and feels like, man, I'm so glad that I work with WCS. I'm so glad I met them. I'm so glad so-and-so pointed me to them, right? So that these guys got me pointed in the right direction to accomplish the things in my life that I want to do, right? To change this year for you, or maybe it's next year changing, right? We want to do that as many times as possible. We can do while we're in this business. So thank you again for your time. I look forward to putting out more information for you guys, more videos for you guys, and reach out to us. Reach out to me, email, text me. Message us on social media. If there's anything you're curious about, maybe there's a video or you want me to highlight or talk about, I could put that together quickly so that everybody can experience from the video that the information that you would like, right? Everybody has a chance to learn from that. That's what this is about, man. Learn and teach as many people that we come in contact with as possible, because the more people that are educated, the more people have an opportunity to be successful in life. All right? Make it a good day. Make it a good week, make it a good month, and we'll talk to you later. Take it easy.